Hey everybody, it's JJamJim, and welcome back to another episode of Vanilla Valley here in City Skylines, our tutorial slash Let's Play series. We are listening to the new Industries DLC, Synthetic Dawn. Well, I guess it's not Industries DLC, that is my bad. It is a separate DLC pack for the new radio station, and that is what we are listening to right now. It's actually my first time listening to it. I figured that'd be a nice way to start this episode. We are, of course, looking at our downtown area that we sort of started to lay out all of the road systems, essentially, last time. Maybe not all the road systems. We'll probably add some things later on. But, yeah, we're looking at that. I wanted to address sort of what we were talking about a little bit last time in terms of the industrial and how it works. And so our friend who made the comment to us last time, Risto, I hope I'm saying that right, we were kind of having a conversation in the comments section about still using generic industry and creating some of that to maybe put less stress on outside connections. And I still think this is a really interesting debate that we are going to have to continue in terms of I would like to try and maybe put down some more generic and just to see, because what I am finding is while, you know, it looks like the city is just fine, right? There's not a lot of issues, right? I'm not seeing a lot of issues. There is some sort of, there's an interesting, not so much with oil I'm finding, but like profit margins, especially with like farming and things, is sort of hit and miss, and it kind of comes and kind of goes. Now obviously maybe this isn't, you know, in the ideal setup. Maybe there's not enough producers, maybe there's not enough people, you know, not enough manufacturing, that types of things. But I would like to, now that we have a couple of these established, I think it might be interesting to see how generic industry will work, or even just placing down some of the industrial zones inside of our area to see how it reacts. I would like to avoid it. As I said before, it would be nice to just have this operating as our industrial, but to be fair, and in the name of science, it would be interesting to see how that does start to affect it. So I think moving forward, obviously we still want to tackle ore and do some forestry and things, but we have lots of game left to play, so I'm not too concerned about that. But we will tackle all that, but as you can see right now, we have zero demand for industry. So we need to get some more people in here, and I think this downtown area would be a great place to start. So we're going to keep that the industries conversation is going to be ongoing because it is such a game-changing type of DLC that may change the economy of every DLC or City Skylines 2, you know, whatever, moving forward. So I think it's really good that we just keep having that conversation, and that's part of, I love it. I love having that conversation because I'm always trying to figure this game out, and that's the beauty of it, right? I have, you know, well over 1,000 hours in this game, and I still learn something every single time I sit down to it. And that just shows, I don't know, it's just the beauty of it. It just makes me so happy, and that is why I love playing this game and having these conversations with all of you. So I just realized that we were going to attempt to build this all the way through, so let's try and build this to, oh, it's bridging there. Perhaps I need to go a bit rogue just to stick with, maybe I need to split the difference there. And then perhaps I can go back once we get to there. So let me try to turn those back on now. And yeah, I'll take that. I'm gonna go a little bit straight there. We may run into some problems here. Yeah. I actually don't know if that's going to, I could delete it and rebuild it. However, I fear the pillars are going to need to go somewhere. But what's the harm in trying, right? Is the harm in trying. Yeah, I'm gonna need, there's just too many. Sometimes what happens is if you have like the road guidelines on, there's just so many points, so many node points that it's trying to connect to that you just kind of need to do your own thing and give the game a little bit of a break there. Because sometimes it tries to do a little too much all at once. Same deal here, right? But I think this will be very, very lovely to have this. Yeah, let's just go alongside. And then we'll just end it right here. Again, we'll put trees and rocks and things along here. Because, yeah, you can see the sort of tearing in the world. But we'll do some stuff with that. Alright, now let's see if we can get this back in here. Not sure we are going to. But yeah. Looks like that's the way it's gonna crumble. And that's just gonna have to be okay. A new radio station, more fun commercials. So what can happen here is just this, right? Or, oh, wait a minute. Let's not give up too quickly here.
And inventing the most efficient means of shipping and packaging that mankind has ever known.
Go around it.
You have to look outside the box.
Yeah.
And
it's a little goofy. Now we'll see if this can work.
And that truly is the greatest box of all. Tune in every Wednesday at 8 for this once in a week time.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna. It's not worth the time right now trying to get that to kind of go. Can I go around this way? Oh, you. Oh, you. Well, I'm just gonna leave it like that then. They can get off, walk the road, and get back on. That's fine. It's a little silly, but we'll accommodate. All right. So this, what happens sometimes is when we built the road system and that's all great, right? But what sometimes can happen with you is you can still feel a little gun shy about, okay, well, where do I put stuff? I don't know. Well, last time, we sort of established that we thought this would be a nice area for some residential. Like over here. Like people live on this side. You go across to do your shopping and all of those things. Oh, speaking of that, wait a minute, hold up. Before we do all of that, I want to make sure that we are creating... Okay, these work at ground level, which is great. So what we need to do is make sure that we are establishing some points of contact here. Okay. Oh, game. Sometimes. Let's just do something like that. Okay, so just more points of contact so people can get across. And I think that's going to be really, really important. So we can just have people walking about everywhere and not having to... Go, and that is bridging there, so I think that's actually going to be okay. But just I think a bunch of them will be really nice to have. So let's go like that, and then just straight across. Same over here. Wonderful. Let's do another one right. Do it right about there. Very good. And then there's a bridge over there. So that's 1, 2, that's 3, that's 5 different crossings into the downtown area, not including bridges and things. And I think for that purpose, let's just do something like this, so that they can walk. Yeah, great. Great. And whatever's in here, we'll have a walking bridge, but definitely want to get everyone walking, right? And that looks so cool. Like once we put trees and some bushes and some rocks and things over here, that's just gonna look really, really sharp, I think. All right. So let's get down people over here, which means we're going to need to water this entire area, which is a bit of a task. So we're going to have to do a little bit of water pipe simulator. I'm going to turn back snapping. Go out by 440 and back down. 40 and slope too steep. Okay. 440. Interesting. That slope is too steep. Huh. I'm just gonna go. Gonna go out like this. Make sure we get the whole island, because then we just don't have to deal with it, right? And for the sake of time, let's just eyeball this thing. Why is it so steep? It's so strange to me. Huh, you can do it in pieces. For some reason the game is not like doing it all in one. I wonder if is it the canal? I don't think it's the canal. Well, maybe it is, actually. Huh. Maybe it is the canal. I'm gonna pop this down to 2 speed. We don't need to blow through time here. We have plenty of money to work with. Man, yeah, this is soups goofs. Soups goofs. Oh well. You work with it, you know? Alright, excellent. Okay, so now we have all the water. We're going to need to have power access, of course. And I don't think we're actually going to have any power generation on the island. We may at some point, but for now, I'm just going to snag our, I'm just going to snag the power that we have over here. And I'm actually going to run this all the way. Oh, I see. Okay, well, we're going to fix this later, but I'm just trying to get it to the other side here. Just trying to get it over to there, and then I think we'll start potentially over here just to get that power going. And we'll delete all that and move it later, of course. Okay, so we have power. As far as garbage goes, I think that is going to be something that maybe exists over here, or potentially right in here, or on the end of the island, but we are going to need to figure that out, aren't we? Because we are going to need a little bit more, a closer option. But perhaps we can do it over here. I'm just gonna terraform a little bit of this back. And I'm gonna use this. In fact, I'm gonna use our industrial road. And I'm gonna go like that. No, I'm not. I lied. Because that looks crazy. So let's go up. make this not look stupid. And is that 180? Okay, it's very high. It's very, very high indeed. We may want this to start going up a little bit even more. So it looks a little less... Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, that'll do. And just for now, I'm gonna grab the industrial road. I can always figure out more of this later, but just for now, let's pop down a couple of the recycling centers to operate for this area. Now, hopefully, that should, yeah, it's not going to cover everything. Perhaps we need to do the same thing over here, or indeed just have a little bit of a road. You know, maybe something like this. This is going to be temporary, I feel, but just a couple of those to service our city, and that's going to be just fine. Great. Okay. Always good to make your way down the services. Just is a lot easier once you start, you know, working through stuff. Okay. I think... I think... Do I want a hospital? And if so, I could do it right here in the center. For this side. That's probably going to be the best use of it. And in fact, it does fit right there. And will look kind of nice off the highway like that. Very, very good. And then we are going to also need a police station that will not fit there, but actually will fit right behind it. Some nice buildings right there. Okay, and then I think just a small police station will do just fine. And I think we're gonna be able to, yeah, maybe not. Okay, so that's going to be a police station. We're going to need some schools, of course. I'm going to put in the cool schools from the Green Cities DLC, because I do think they're fun. So maybe this can be like a little bit of a hub down here. Let's try to give as much coverage as we can. There's just not a lot of it. We may need a couple of them, so perhaps we don't try... all, you know, in one gulp here. Do a little of that, and then perhaps the high school just goes right next to it. And then we can put some parks and things back here. Like the basketball court. And that can go off of there. And then we'll do a playground as well. And then we can just add some paths behind here. Off of this. Go straight. Typically, I will do the paths without having the snapping on, just to make it a little bit easier. Because what happens is it will still snap to node points. See how it snaps there? Because if I was to do it here, it might warp the curve that I've already put in the path. But if you just let it snap, and it still will, regardless of whether or not you have snapping, the snapping on, it will still do that. So looks like I can't do one between there. That's okay. But I will do. I saw it. I saw it. No, did I not see it? I did see it. Oh, no, it didn't let me. Sneaky, sneaky game. That's okay. I don't think I want to do any zoning there anyway. We'll cover that with some trees and things. Okay. So, great. So that is all set up. We will put down a couple parks preliminarily. Preliminary parks. Goodness. I'm going to do it on this back end there. And then the dog parks I really like to put down. The dog parks I think the people really, really love. One there. And then I'm going to do a large playground just there. And again, this is going to be just kind of connected up. Something like that. Too short. Okay. That's going to be fine. Great. Now, this is all going to be high density districts. Now, something that I like to do that I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do of in these areas, perhaps a couple of them. But I'll show you what I like to do when I make high density kind of gridded zoning. I'll show you what I like to do. So we have a park here, but what I like to do to create still that look of a backyard type of a feel is to give them, we're playing a little bit of pretend here, but that's okay. That's what our imaginations are for. This pathway is going to act sort of like an alleyway, if you will, to their homes, okay? And what's nice about this, and I'll show you in a sec here. Let's do it with this one first, okay? So basically, we'll have the zoning on all sides here, right? And then behind here, we can put some picnic tables down, some trees, and it just sort of breaks up the height. Because what happens is when you zone high density residential, a lot of times there's like a parking lot behind it. And what's nice is sometimes the parking lot will blend with the path that you've created. And once you add some more trees and things in there, it breaks the height up. It looks like it's an actual, you know, like a green space behind your house, right? Because you live in an apartment building, so you don't have a yard, right? So it's a place to go out, have some lunch, take your dog out, do different things like that. And I think it's a really nice look, and you'll kind of see what I mean when we start putting some of this down. I'm going to start right here. Now, of course, living by the tracks is not going to be the most appealing thing, but I am going to attempt to do what I did over there, over here. I can sneak that down. They're going to come in. I'm going to just destroy that part and have that come in. Yeah, so then it's like, you know, it's like an alleyway. And then just for fun, we pop some trees down. They're gonna complain about power, but that should. I mean, if I do that, will that link up the power? Not that bit. Oh, it's so close. Maybe this is a bad idea going around the. Okay, so let me grab there. And we'll go up. There we go. There we go. Now that'll link that up. But see already? Like, yeah, there's a parking lot behind it, and yeah, it's not all the way up to it, and of course it isn't an alley, and of course people will not drive on it. But you play a little pretend, and that little bit of concrete, I think, just really makes that shine, and I really like it. It's a little close to the train tracks, I think. Make it as idyllic as possible for our people here, our friends living next to the rail. Okay. Great. So now I can do this whole section, and then we'll start to slowly. I'm going to do a little bit of high density commercial here and here, because they're next to the highway anyway, and If we don't need to keep our citizens next to the highway, I think that'll be okay. I may want to figure out, actually, we have this little... I do want this to connect to... It's not connecting here like it was.
Lock eyes with the lemur. Shake hands with the turtle. At the city zoo, you can experience the wild in our wild sensation. Come down this weekend to meet
What if
our
I
newest addition,
do
a three-legged
that?
sloth named Barbara. She'll hook you with her smile and hook you again with her curved toes used to grasp trees in the wild. After that, take a gander at another new species, a new type of bird previously identified as a different type of bird due to a zoological error. Fun for the whole family. Book now and get a free handful of pellets to feed the fish. Limit 4 per family while supplies last.
Let me see if
We'll
I can
look forward
just
to seeing you where the animals live in rooms painted to look like
go
home.
like
The
that.
city zoo.
I just don't like how that looks. There we go. Just have one gradual. There we go. Now it connects up.
Steady work, appearing successful in the eyes of your neighbors.
And same kind of deal here.
Is more heavily regulated than ever.
There we are.
Being an entrepreneur to
That's
do
much,
when
much,
your
much,
days
much
are going
better.
as groovy as planned. Don't worry.
I don't care for that, but we can maybe sneak some trees or something in there.
Level of cheer, and kegs
Okay,
of
these
refuge
people
and
are all
sausage
moving
shakes.
in. Let's do
Let
this
the sounds of
again.
nature carry you through the
See how
highs
much
and lows
see how
of
much
the day.
better that looks than this already? Just from an aesthetic purpose, it does feel like it does create somewhat of an alley, right? And people aren't probably going to walk that, but like to me it makes perfect sense to do this and just yes, I destroy a building. But you know what? In the name of I just think that looks so good. Gives a little bit of that, I don't know, just gives a little something. Okay, now that has power. We still need to connect this up, but we're gonna make our way down. I'm gonna make all this low density commercial, and then just mix it with a little bit of high as well. This can be more residential. Starting to get a little bit of that demand back for industrial, but I think this is going to look real smart. Oh, whoops. Do need to cover that with water, and then I think for some power, I'm just going to pop down a turbine there. Yeah, just kind of having it along this curve, I think that's going to look really smart. I think that's going to look real snazzy. Yeah. People are already walking across, even though there's nothing over here, so that's cool, I guess, to see, right? We're using all of this already because this is how they get off to the area. So we'll get kind of a glimpse at how the traffic is going to behave over here, right? They are complaining about garbage, but that could be because we just didn't have garbage services right away. Our demand is dipping now. We are placing down a lot of people. More people than we have placed, because realistically we didn't put a whole lot of apartment buildings anywhere else in the city. I mean, a few over here, but I do love how this just lining with trees like this. I just think that looks so cool. See, our budget is still fluxing pretty hard, and I'm willing to bet it's because of sort of our industrial, and that's why we should play around with some other things. I do think that would be very, very valuable. How's this doing? 10,000. Yeah. Oil and ore are definitely helpful creators of products and stuff. Oh, right. We were putting this in. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about this. We'll have to, we'll do with this probably in the next episode. But as we continue to move, everybody, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I really, really, really do appreciate it. And let me know what you think in the comment section below about our new areas and what you think of this downtown area. Love to hear from you. All right, everybody, that will do it for this episode. I will see you next time in City Skylines here in Vanilla Valley. Bye, everybody.